it on that basis alone. So that's why this issue came before you. And I believe there is a speaker.
That's a much better explanation. Thank you, Kerry.
Is there a speaker?
Mayor, if you could please open the public hearing, we have a speaker.
I was going to do that. Public hearing is now open. And who would that be speaking now?
Mike Maden?
Mike who?
Maden?
Mr. Mike, will come up, please, sir.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council, thanks for hearing me. I wasn't coming prepared to speak. I was just kind of listening in.
Good.
I work for Legacy Homes. I'm not the CFO, so I don't speak officially for the finances, but we are in a very difficult situation. I mean, business is essentially based on greed. I mean, that's what we're in business for, is to make money, but we are making very little profits right now. We actually just this last week shut down a job site in Rancho Cordova. We're selling the models and everything folding up for the same kind of thing, the fee structure. So we are being forced to, we're a small private builder. We do own 212 lots in West Lathrop, but we are being forced to reevaluate all of our finances. We're basically just staying in business to keep our loyal employees busy. And we have a very small group of employees, but we do have land. We do have some cash that we've basically gotten back from tax refunds for the losses that we've had for the last 4 years. Fees have increased 23.6% over since 2005. Our sales price has gone down, depending on what city, by as much as 40 to 60%, varies city to city. So we're in a very bad situation financially. And what we're doing is we're having to go up and down the valley. We're in Reno now as well, which is not doing well, but we're going city to city and evaluating which cities are willing to work with us and get us in there where we can even break even. We've sold, I think, 12 houses in the last 2 years in Lathrop. Got millions of dollars of fees that we've paid to build these models out and stuff. And we've taken losses on several of the houses, literally negative revenues coming in on several of these houses. There's also been EPA regulations that went into effect September of this year, where that's added $5,000 just in costs for water protection, spraying the lots with straw and tack and things like this year round. So there's just lots of extra costs. The cost of the fire sprinklers themselves alone are $3,500 to $12,000 per lot, and that's not including the fees that we would incur from the city on top of that. So we're talking $20,000 in non-value added costs going to your homeowners in Lathrop. And another issue is, even when we can sell a house at a small profit, the appraisers are not appraising the houses for the options that the buyers want to buy. So we've built several houses, we've put options in that people have ordered, and then the appraisers come back, and the appraisers are only based on square footages and bedrooms. They're not including any options. They're not including corner lot options, which there's a lot of design guidelines with the city that also tack on another 12 to 15 grand for corner lots. So it's really not feasible, and business is all about feasibility. And we will be forced to move, down to cities maybe farther down south. We're going to the Bay. Most builders go to the Bay, where there are higher profit margins, and that's just common business sense. I think it's in the best interest of Lathrop to reduce fees. I mean, we were hurting before these fee increases came with the new fire sprinkler stuff, which is in the next set of houses that we would build. But we're hurting before that extra $3,500 to $12,000 in fees. So we would really just appreciate any kind of review of the fees. We need help. I know you want us to build out at this rate. It's going to be 20 to 25 years before we're out of here. We got the land at a cheap enough price where we'll sit on it. We're not going to sell it. Even the big builders, I'm surprised William Lyons isn't here to represent as well, but we kind of thought this one was going to go through. But we plan on keeping these lots. There just won't be any development. We're looking at 20 to 25 years just to get this stuff here on West Lathrop, the finished lots done. And we do have 212 lots again. So
How many lots do you have?
212.
Continue, please.
It's pretty much what I have to say. We want to just work with you guys. I know you want to get it built out. We want to get built out. You want, you get those property tax revenues coming in, sales tax revenues, all those, homeowners living here, buying. I'm sure it's going to make West Lathrop look more attractive to commercial. Lots of advantages. City and business work hand in hand. We have very little margins. I'm trying to talk to my CFO to see if he'll even open up the books and show you what we got. I mean, maybe basing. Another issue is I know that every year you reenact a construction cost index that's based on a national average, I believe. I'm not sure if it segments residential from commercial and industrial. If it doesn't and lumps them all in, commercial costs, construction costs, which is what the fee structure is based on, is heavier in steel and concrete, so it would weight it stronger against us. I personally don't feel that enacting the construction cost index would be the smartest way to go for us or for Lathrop as far as revenues long term. I think a pretty simple financial analysis over the next life of the project at this point in time, be 20 years. I think your maximum profitability is going to come by reducing fees now, getting us where we can sell houses, getting homeowners in here, getting Lathrop built out, and that way more funds are coming in, long-term funds, and hopefully getting commercial stuff coming too. That's my position. It's an unofficial position. I'm not the CFO. I'm actually the guy that builds the houses. So that's my position, and we would just request that you'd help us out and we can work together in whatever way we can.
You know, Son Smith, you speak very genuine. And I can tell that you're here for a reason, that hopefully this was going to go through. And hopefully with the council, listening to what you had to say, that, yeah, we're a community that we want to build out. We want to work with you guys. We want to work with everybody. And that's always been my consensus, me personally as the mayor and part of this council as well. And we understand that, as I was saying to Senior Councilman Dollywall, that I understand, you know, it's a time, right now is the time. And, you know, people want to purchase houses, they're coming from the Bay Area, they got big bucks coming out over here. You know, you guys are just putting something together to, where you guys can make that minuscule profit. I'm a business guy, and I know where you're at. You spoke from the soul, you spoke right you spoke from in here. You didn't speak from greed, like, you know, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? You spoke well. Yes, you were going to say something.
Just that I think in my desire to quickly get through, the city manager had made a really good point. What we're suggesting here doesn't reduce the amount of income the city would receive from last year to this year. We would get the same amount. We just wouldn't end up with a windfall that's triggered because they have to use that larger meter size. But we wouldn't lose anything compared to what we got last year. We would still get that full amount. We just wouldn't get that big jump in income because we don't feel that it's appropriate.
Mayor,
Go.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
I have a lot of sympathy for you because you are a worker, so am I. What I'm upset about, 2006, 2007, a friend of mine bought 2 lots in Manchica. It cost him the lot and building the house. His expense was $255,000. He sold each house for $495. A lot of companies did that. Record profits. Your CEO was laughing all the way to the bank. They didn't care. So people got into these houses that they could not afford with inflated prices. And when they couldn't afford it for a year or two, we got this foreclosure mess. People lost everything. I saw it on the news. A guy's house was being foreclosed. He shot his 4 kids, his wife, and himself.
I remember that.
And I don't think anybody even called that we will pay for the funeral. That's what I'm upset about, that when all these companies were making huge profits, they didn't care, but now since the profit is low, the houses are selling at a low price, and this thing is cutting more into their profit, now they want us to lower it. I don't have problem lowering it, but I'm still upset about what happened to a lot of families in 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still going on.
I understand. I personally lost my own house that I built with my own hands for the same kind of thing. And my family, we had to move into a little tiny apartment. So I'm totally sympathetic to that. A lot of the companies that did make hundreds of millions of dollars, we also lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and we had to give back a lot of stuff to the bank. I know my company, I can't speak, the exact dollar amount, but we lost an extremely large amount of money, a large amount of people. We had 400 employees. Now we have probably, I'd guess, 30, and that's all up and down California and Nevada. So it's just really hard. But in the long run, business is good for the city, and it's driven by profits. I mean, we have to. I mean, the city's, the more profits we make, the more we can pay you guys, and the more you can serve your community. And so it's in our best interest just to work together, and penalizing us and stalling the market because of a lot of the suffering that everyone's been suffering and that's still going through right now. I mean, they're saying, more and more foreclosures are coming on the market. The National Association of Realtors just said that they've miscounted the sales, and it's actually 20% lower than what they anticipated. So, I mean, we don't know if we're out of this thing, and so I'm hoping Lathrop can have the vision to actually be progressive and lead other cities in getting the economy stimulated. I mean, maybe I think that, and that's what we're going to try and do, is find cities that are thinking ahead and they can, reduce, design guidelines, reduce fees, and work with us. Maybe base the fees on profit margins. I mean, I'm totally open to that. I don't know about my
No,
CFO, but something like that.
I know, I know where you're coming from, and I totally agree. But, I'm a human being. Sometimes emotions take over, and I'm very upset what happened to my fellow Americans. People lost everything. But, that's
That's not your fault.
That's not my fault, and that's not your fault either, and I'm not blaming you for it.
You gonna say something?
Yes.
It's the 1%.
Vice Mayor?
Well, I see both sides of the argument, but I still appreciate you coming in and saying your piece here. We'll do what it takes to help you.
Okay.
Thank you.
What would be the next step, or maybe I can just get with staff? I think I had written a letter, but I didn't get it to you guys in time. Just kind of, I wanted to address this as far as, can we do like maybe a city study on the fees to see if we explore options, just see what kind of options there are with the fee structure as far as, attaching it to a profit margin, or maybe going according to our actual costs, or is there any way we can get something like that in motion?
Counselor,
Certainly, the next step would be sitting down with staff and talking.
okay?
Okay,
You got that?
yes,
I'm gonna sit down and talk to you.
okay. That's all I have.
Or now, is he gonna say something?
Yeah,
He's got his hand on the mic, so he's getting.
I was just gonna say, I share the same anger that Mr. Dollywall, Councilmember Dollywall does. In fact, I have a friend that says he owns his house, but to him, he's renting it because he's never gonna pay it off. And he's just paying it because he can, on his tax returns, when he files taxes, he can claim a loss and get a return on it. And so it's his house, but he sees it as just renting because he's never gonna pay it off because of how much it's underwater. So, I share the same anger, but I would say that I think if anything would stall development, then we should work to avoid that. And
That's right.
I think this does it. So I would be in favor of this. I appreciate you coming. So I move to adopt item 5.4.
Mayor, if you could close the public hearing.
Okay,
There are no other
Mike, you done
speakers.
talking?
I am. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Go keep the seat warm. Public hearing is now closed on 5.4.
Comment, Mayor.
Comments?
I was upset, and I got it off my chest. But keeping in mind that we need to get our economic development, our residential development going. It provides jobs to people like Mike, and I'll be the last person to take that away from you. So keeping that in mind, I'll second your motion.
Well, any other comments? Got any more comments? Mike, thanks a lot for coming in. Thank you. No, sincerely. And as Senior Councilman Dollywall and Mr. Dallas said, we got to keep the sticks up. Sincerely, we got to keep it up. I mean, we all have our personal effects, as Mr. Dollywall always says. We're all entitled to opinions, but business is business and family is family. Friends are friends, but this is business. We need to make sure that you guys are still in hand. And we've already given direction to Mr. Keaton to sit down.
I think we do need a roll call.
No, I'm just giving a comment right now.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we've already done that, so, and you should be thankful, your CFO should be thankful you came up. You just saved him a whole bunch of headaches.